Neil, great
How
to see
we
you.
doing? All right.
Very well indeed, thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So where we usually start is a bit about you. I know you've got quite an interesting past. Polo, finance, X Factor, RAF pilot, motivator, I don't know where to stop. So I think, just how you touched in the recruitment world, really what brought you to where you are here, and then we can go from there.
Okay, how do I share this briefly? Thanks for inviting me to be here today. Yeah, it's a real pleasure meeting you. So where do I start? I did university and studied geography. Joined the Air Force, went through basic flying training and realised that I wasn't the best at always remembering where I was meant to be. So geography and degree didn't really help. I was told I was a great pilot, but I knew that I don't think I had what it took to really go down the fast jet route that my friends were heading. And I decided, was it for me? Did I want to make a long-term commitment? I decided it wasn't for me. And someone said, you should go to London, you'll be great in sales and work with people. And somehow, like a lot of people do, I fell into recruitment. I love working with people. And I guess what I do now is that my job and why I'm hired is to coach, motivate, develop sales teams, people, directors, business owners to improve their performance, increase their profit, increase their market share. So that journey really started with getting into recruitment. I worked for a large global 250 company, large international business, and started out in the finance world doing a combination of contract and a bit of perm recruitment as well. And the recruitment story was that you're kind of joining a business that's very kind of account PSL orientated. But I wanted to just find a niche for myself and I wanted to be successful. I had a wonderful Fiesta at the time that I arrived in that I like to think was charcoal grey. My friends assured me it was shit brown. And I noticed there were other people in this company doing very well. And I was motivated by, I wanted to have a good lifestyle, I guess, as well as kind of create financial success and security. So I decided to start doing business development quite soon, quite early, kind of learn my role as a recruiter. I had 172 working contractors for me, heads in field at one time. That was my biggest week. I was billing about £1 million a year. And I was working in the investment banking financial sector, middle office predominantly and some back office. And how I really made my success as a recruiter was actually focusing on BD. So rather than being one of 5, one of 6, working at 15%, I wanted to be one of 1, working at 20 to 25%. So I wanted to take my story, take my product, my proposition, my service, and target a different type of bank. And at the time, without naming the names, I would call them maybe more second-tier banks, less recognised, not the greatest of brands, but wanting to compete with the big players. So I just took my proposition to them, and I think what made me different to the rest was that a lot of people were always hidden behind their screen, whereas I like being out meeting people. And very quickly that created my success, that I was billing more than really anyone else in the business globally. So did that for a period of time, got into management, building teams, developing teams, coaching teams, got flown around the world multiple times to help maybe certain offices or individuals or teams that were struggling and started to kind of put some basic training together. And then in 2007, I had an almighty skiing accident. Spent a long time in hospital with multiple broken bones, including my back and various other breaks.
Wow.
Yeah, I never planned to do that. It was an accident. Right. Last day, too much rosé, racing a mate who was a lot better than me. So know your competition, know when to compete and what to do. And unfortunately I didn't. And I spent a long time in hospital, months. Right. And it was the CEO of a recruitment company who said, you'd be great if you could really design a program that coaches people, managers, owners, how to become the top billers and the go-to people in their industry. And that person really kind of set me that task of thinking, well, you know what? Training is great. There's lots of people out there doing it, but who, back to my Air Force experience, has got a systemised approach to development that companies can then use for long-term sustainability and scalability? And that's really where my journey as a coach started now over 15 plus years ago. Hopefully I built a name and reputation. Lots of companies then started to want to engage with me. And in the last period of being a coach now, 15 years plus, coached about 6,000 people, 21 industries, 21 different countries I've operated in, consulted, spoken, coached. And probably the only sales coach or the recruitment trainer, recruitment coach that's actually coaching in multiple industries outside of recruitment. So I've operated in the insurance space, the CPO space, aviation, avionics, and so on. So I love to actually go and understand how other people in other industries, fast-paced sales, how they're operating, and what can I bring back to for the benefit of the recruitment industry. And I love what I do.
Good. So how do you, when you start working with a company, what do you look for to identify where you can help?
Yeah, okay. So who do I work with and who don't I work with? So I specialise in creating, developing, motivating sales teams, and the companies I'm working with have hugely ambitious plans for growth. The only companies I'm working with want to become the number one at what they do, and the success of that is that over the period of time I've been working with businesses, they are now dramatically improving their performance, their productivity, their profitability, and they're winning UK national, international awards for training, for most recognised company to work with. It's interesting. Sales training was always about helping companies make more money and for the individual to take more home. I think sales training is as important now in actually helping a company retain their staff and retain staff loyalty. I think when companies are trying to poach people, it's not just on package. Mm-hmm. It's on. I think the market's evolved massively. My 20 years of experience, but now it's about how will you develop me. And unfortunately or fortunately, what's in it for me? So I think the pitch has really got to improve for recruitment owners as to how they attract people into their industry, into their company, And one of those key things is the investment in specific development above and beyond purely software, branding, marketing, everything else, is how will you develop me personally.
Mm-hmm. So where are companies getting that right and wrong?
Where a company's getting it right, you need budget. You need to put a decent amount of budget in, and you need to invest in people for the long term. Half day, 1 day, that's okay, but imagine what could be achieved if you invested with the right coach over a period of 4 to 6 months, who acted as some kind of interim sales director, which ultimately is what I do. I get brought into businesses either to turn them around or take them from good to great or from great to awesome. And that's in the most simplistic way of doing it. And you ask me, what kind of companies do I work with? They have ambitious plans for growth. There's a huge market opportunity out there that they want to develop because they see an opportunity and they see their competition are also attacking that industry. They've got a great market and company and personal and product proposition, and they believe their people and they love their people and they want to see their people do great, not just their business. And if you've met that kind of those 4 parts of my criteria, ambitious plans for growth, great market opportunity, an awesome proposition that we can really develop, and you've got people that are up for coaching and they really want to be pushed, they're the people that I love. I love working with. And that company, that individual doesn't have to be a top performer right now. I love an underdog, someone who doesn't believe in themselves, a company that maybe is questioning the individual. I'll always say, have you given them the best chance of success? Mm-hmm. Very few people can say yes. What have you done with them? How much have you invested in them? How much time have you invested in them? How well do you know that person? I go, cool, give them to me. And I've got a 99% success rate with people like that. And just on LinkedIn today, there's a company I'm working with right now. People are very kindly saying what a great day they had with me last week. There's a few people I would have called underdogs there that are really now winning meetings, getting in front of people and doing deals. And they didn't believe they could do it before they started working with me. So I do as much as I do to be in business, but why I really do it is because I love helping people who maybe question their true potential or their capability.
And how much of it is it skill versus, I guess, believing in themselves?
Oh, skill versus belief. I think you need both. I was hired on zero skill, but awesome passion, awesome belief, hungry, competitive. I was hired, or I proved myself on working long hours, doing a lot of what I call smart time. It's a key term for anyone who's worked with me that I use. SMART doesn't stand for anything apart from working on your business, not in your business. Biggest mistake recruiters, companies make is if they think if they increase their output alone, let's get more on the phones, we'll be more successful. But it's the biggest myth. Because what if you're speaking to the wrong people with the wrong pitch? And your people don't have that capability. Yeah, we can increase our output. And of course, that is an ingredient to success. But for me, there's a bigger framework to how you build your business, to win new business, develop existing business, and so on.
So when you said that when you worked for the big FTSE 250 company, you were selling to banks, but then you took your proposition to that more second tier bank, and so you, like you say, you worked on your business within the business.
Yeah.
What? Not many people necessarily think outside the box like that. I've seen it where they do, and they do particularly well. But how do people almost break away from the the shackles of what they're meant to be doing and be more creative?
Interesting. I think you've got to have belief. I go back to that point. I got hired an attitude. I learnt the skill. I think you have to, in sales, right, or growing a business. And I think this podcast you've kindly invited me to do with you, it's for everyone. Yes, it's for business owners, it's for business leaders, but it's for that person that's an employee within a business maybe. You own your business. You are responsible for building that business. But I don't like this kind of dictatorial part where your job is to build that business. The individuals you want to be hiring should want to grow that business. And I think, why did I go after a different type of client when I could have sat comfortably with existing accounts? Is I wanted to become a go-to person in my industry. I wanted to be known. I wanted to be famous. I think there was some ego in there. I wanted to compete. I was on the ground floor and I wanted to compete with the big bidders on the 5th and the 6th floor. I wanted to compete with Sydney. I wanted to compete with Tokyo. So I became obsessed with spending time, smart time, on how can I get better. If Formula One, probably my favourite sport. But if you look at football, you look at rugby, you look at any sport, all those individuals, the Six Nations right now, they're reviewing their last performance, whether they won or they lost, right? How could have I put even more points on the board if I lost? Why did I lose? What was good about my game? What was poor about my game? And I think a recruiter needs to do that, and a business owner needs to do that is, where am I strong? Where am I weak? And how do I fix it? And then you need to take some smart time out of that to think about the certain skills I need to improve on, to go back into my marketplace and apply them. So, if you fail, cool, but learn from the failure. And then work out where the room for improvement it is, and then go and do more of it. We need to fail to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. You work obviously with a lot of recruitment companies.
Yeah.
You also work with companies outside, and I'm sure you meet a whole range of people from different backgrounds and generations. We see some of the younger generations getting a lot of stick. You see them on LinkedIn saying that they're lazy, they don't want to learn, they're not really motivated by money. I think that's probably untrue, and when you think when you're growing up, usually it's the older generation who criticise the generation before them. But what's your actual experience of people being open to what you'll provide?
Yeah, I think this. Look, there's a lot of people out there who like to talk about back in the day. So I've only touched on it to share my story because you asked me about it. It's what matters now. So comparing people to how you were as a recruiter or a business owner 5, 10, 15 years ago, it doesn't matter about comparing what happened 10 or who you were 15 years ago. What matters is now. And ultimately, you need to get under the skin of people when you're hiring people and when I'm working with people as a coach to understand what makes them tick. What inspires you? Why are you here? The first question I was asked when I walk into a boardroom or an event, a paid event, or a free event is, show of hands, who actually wants to be here? Because some people can get sent to an event, sent on a program. A lot of people don't know why they're at a training event, because they've been sent by their boss. So for me to engage that person, do a Shackleton and take them on a journey, long months of complete darkness, bitter cold, sometimes safe return doubtful, but honour and recognition in case of success, is you've got to find the people that are up for that challenge. Now, I would say they are quite hard to find, but your job as a leader and my job as a coach is to find those people who are up for a challenge and some hard work. I'll give you access to me 24/7 a day, for no additional fee. I really care about helping people because maybe in my earlier days, I didn't get much help, in development when I was a recruiter because it was, if you weren't performing, you learnt by being strangled by a phone wire. Yeah. So and a beating down the pub with everyone laughing at you. Yeah. So there was a lot less PC then. So I think you've got to take a lot of time to understand what makes people tick. Why are they here? And that's the big thing, right? From a coaching perspective, how to operate. I always say to any business owner I'm working with, of course I'm going to make it about you and your business. But I'm going to make it as much about them as your business. So here's the thing. You've given me your bullseye. You own a company. You've given me your bullseye. This is what we want to achieve. And this is the sort of coaching we're looking for. Maybe you'll tell me a bit about your desired content that you'd like to see engaged. You'll tell me why they're not performing and what's frustrating. I go, great, noted, and that's on board. Now let's work with the people and go, right, why are you here? Not many people go to work because they just love to work. Lots of people, and every employee, young or old, experienced or inexperienced, is on some kind of personal mission. that they have committed to their other half, to their friends, to their family, whether that be pride, whether that be financial security because we're getting married, God forbid, just got divorced, that's going to cost me, whatever it may be, not me personally, but people have got some sense of financial target they want to hit to support a personal mission. Very few MDs really know what is making that person tick and why they're coming to work. Whereas I take an interest on day one of any program is why you're here. And then if I can help them shape their compass, okay, and help them define what route they need to take and let them become the author of that journey, well, these are all the other options you can consider as you go down a certain path, then it starts to become their journey, their diary. Now go and apply what I've shared with you, report back to me. Some you'll win, some you'll lose, but let's learn. And now they're becoming an entrepreneur. And I think that as much as that scares people or businesses, if you could coach your people to have an entrepreneurial spirit, mindset, go out there, just get out there and meet people, just turn up. As someone I read recently said that on LinkedIn, I thought, what a great line. Just show up, just turn up and get that story out there, just like you're doing at Target Recruit. That you're getting out there, you're turning up and you're just trying to spread the story. Not everyone will buy, but the chances of success are that some will, and it's better than staying behind the screen. And I think if you can create that, how does a business owner think and get actually people who aren't business owners but employees to have that entrepreneurial mindset, the first thing business owners will say is, my God, I don't want to become like that, because then they'll want to go and compete with me and set themselves up. Okay, but just think about the cost of that lost opportunity all the time they're not thinking like that, whilst you are paying them every month. So my job is to create people with an entrepreneurial mindset. It doesn't mean they're going to go and compete with you and set themselves up, because very few do, because very few are willing to take that risk.
Yeah. I was going to say, is there a risk from you, given the inspiration to those individuals, that they'll think this place isn't for me and the grass may be greener elsewhere? Okay,
I'm very lucky because I work with awesome companies, UK, internationally, who have created a great culture. Yeah. Reward is key, right? Recognition is absolutely key. I go back to that Shackleton advert, recognition in case of success. When there's success, you've got to recognise people for that. I think a lot of individuals will see their bosses doing well, but am I doing well? What's my reward for it? So I think that reward is really key. Recognising people for their success and for their efforts is absolutely vital. So if you've got a great culture, got a great brand, there is a great market opportunity, you've got a good inspiring leader that helps me and coaches me, doesn't talk at me, takes a real interest in me, maybe my personal life as well at times, and what I'm up to personally in my life, and will guide me and help me when I'm struggling, and really reward me when they see I've really worked my backside off. They're the sort of companies I work with. I don't see people leaving. I see the retention rates in firms that I consult for, coach, they're high. I don't see much staff turnover with businesses that I'm working with. Yeah. Yet other companies have high staff turnover. So you have to ask yourself, why is that? Yeah. I think reflection's really key. In owning a company, I do my very best to reflect on my own business growth and where do I want to improve, how do I want to grow. I think we should all, reflect internally at times as to, how could I be better, how could we be better. But yeah, I'm very fortunate with the companies I work with that, they look after their people. Yeah. So and they look after me. So good. It's win-win.
Who do you struggle with?
Who do I struggle with? I don't really. To be totally honest with you.
You said like the people in the room who say, I want to be here, who are open to be challenged, open to learn. Do you struggle with the exact opposite?
Okay. Who would I struggle with? I would struggle with an individual or a company if the mindset isn't there. If they're not engaged, if the eye contact's poor. I create a lot of practical homework in my coaching programs. I get people to really go to market. Every coaching program I design and deliver is a fee-generating practical exercise and journey expedition that we're going on. So I don't believe in theory-based coaching. I believe in some theory-based coaching. Now let's go and apply it. You guys now report to me, be accountable for your actions. I'll be accountable for the coaching. Let's share our results. Friday 10 a.m. every week. If someone's not committing to that homework, then ultimately they're not up for the expedition. So do I struggle with them? Probably. What percentage do they represent of a client base and hundreds of people that I'm working with? 1%. Okay. I think good coaching should be a great investment in that it will help a company, and this is true, that it helps my clients decide who's going to fly, who's going to fall.
Yeah.
It helps people say, you know what, I don't want to do BD. I want to go back, I want to jump the fence and go into HR, no disrespect, or work on site. Or I want to go back to account management or delivery. I don't want to do BD facing roles. So, a relatively small investment with me will help a company work that out very quickly. But yeah, 95% of people I work with and companies I work with, they're flying and they're winning awards and it's super successful.
Nice.
Yeah.
And on the theme of winning, so I know that we've gone through COVID, lockdown. 22 was a bit of a boom. A lot of recruiters were at times literally just taking orders. There wasn't a great focus on that 360 or BD side. I think 2023 unearthed a lot of companies who'd perhaps previously had a focus on that, but they let it slip and capitalized on that boom period, but not necessarily developed their people. Where do you think that for 2024 there's a lot of nervousness in the market? In the previous podcast we had, I said that there's some people who are openly being quite pessimistic. Not pessimistic, that they're being openly not hopeful about this year. Others who are being optimistic but not too sure. So for 2024, where do you see in that recruitment world? Where do you see people winning?
In the recruitment world, where do I see people winning? Look, some industries are doing really well right now. Some people talk about a challenging market. I think it really depends on what sector you're in, and at what stage of your business journey as a company you're on, what stage of growth you're at, the experience and expertise of the people that you've hired, where are they on their development journey. So I don't think one size fits all to say it's a challenging market. I'm working with companies that are flying right now and their markets are super buoyant, life sciences, data, pharmaceuticals, companies, insurance. So it all depends on the market you're in. So from a winning perspective, and who would be achieving the most success, I think it comes down to a variety of, it's quite a complex criteria, I would suggest. For me, there are 5 things that companies and individuals need to achieve, to build their people and to be successful. And I call it the 5 Ps. The first thing that a company needs, if you want to win new business and you want to be successful and you want to grow your business, is, are we passionate as a company? And if I was to ask anyone watching this to do some self-analysis, I'll always say score yourself out of 10. If I look across the sales floor right now, or the online meetings we're doing if people are working remotely, how active are my people right now? How passionate are they? How motivated are they? And it's a really simple way to assess that. Are they smiling? Because if they're not smiling in the office, they may not be smiling when they're out in the marketplace. And ultimately, clients, candidates, whoever you're selling to, they want to see someone that's motivated and they're passionate about what they do, not just going to have your business and here's my invoice. So I think the first thing is, if we've got great passion, we talked about attitude would be the first reason to hire someone if they've got a strong attitude. If the passion's right, then the second thing people need to think about is, how strong is our proposition? Now, I believe a proposition is not about defining a product or a service, but a good proposition is about defining opportunity. It's about communicating opportunity. This is the benefit of working with us. This is the companies, the individuals we've helped. Here are some case studies. Here are some testimonials. Here are some videos of people that are talking about me. And I think the proposition, number one, has to be strong from a leadership perspective, that you have defined it to help your people then understand what that is. Mm-hmm. The biggest mistake, lots of people don't really know what makes them different. And if I always say, challenge an individual when you're in the office, at the coffee machine, you're out of an evening, and just say, look, 15, 20 seconds, pitch me the business. What makes us different? When you go and meet with companies, what are you saying to really define us and separate us from the competition? 9 times out of 10, people really struggle with that. So that needs to be worked on, because you can have great passion, but if you haven't defined the proposition and you can't communicate the opportunity, the benefit with me, look at all these happy people, then you've got great passion, but you're not going to go and catch any fish. So if the proposition is the bait, for me, the passion and the proposition have to be the package. And if one of those is missing, there's no point going to work. So get great passion, get great proposition. And then the third P for me is, where's the profit in the market? So what I mean by that is, which ponds shall I go fishing in? So macro verticals, macro niches and micro niches, really getting, I think, sniper focused on whose business do we want to go and win. I think if Cheltenham is on at the minute, we're trying to back every horse. you're not really going to come back successful with much profit. You might even come back with the loss. So I think spending some time to really research which markets are growing right now, which companies are growing, and doing your smart tab again, doing your research. Which companies do we want to be working with that we are? Which companies are we working with right now that we could seriously develop? We've got one geographical location right now, in Europe, but why don't we develop in Europe? Why don't we head into the Middle East? Let's approach our US contacts. I know companies that really aren't landing and expanding effectively, even on certain PSLs that are global PSLs. So map your market, basically, and map the market to see where the profit is. Now I've got some decent ponds, decent sized fish, that with the right passion and the right bait, I know we can catch those fish. So what's missing? Well, now what's missing is the fourth P for me is the productivity. I need different tools, different rods, different nets to now go and engage in that pond with those fish to hopefully connect with them and scoop them out. So what I mean by that is, I mean about company sales and marketing strategies, but also personal sales and marketing strategies. Different rods, different approaches, different tools, because every client and every candidate, when you're winning new business, either or, will like something different. And what you also need to do, and that fourth P of productivity, is to show consistency in your marketplace. And I always say to people, and I'll share this with you and anyone that's watching this, that the reason you're with your partner right now, and you're still with your partner of life, hopefully, is for three key reasons. Is that over a period of time, you dated that individual. They got to know you, they got to like you, and they got to trust you. Okay, and now that took time. The relationships that people have had, and we've all had them that have fallen apart, is I got to know you, but I certainly didn't like you. I got to know you, yeah, you were fun going out, but I certainly don't trust you. Okay, those relationships that succeed in life are based on those three key principles of how relationships develop and they mature and they bloom. Know, like, and trust. So I got a question for you. What makes us as recruiters, salespeople, business owners think that relationship in building, you want to build the knowledge, like, and trust of a client would be any different? Mm-hmm. So the consistency takes time to build that relationship. And what I call, think of different types of dates, whether that's via online, Teams, Zoom, to things I can send you, to face-to-face meetings and different reasons for face-to-face meetings, different reasons for calls, WhatsApps, texts. And you kind of need like an arsenal of different ideas. And, industry statistic is it takes 7 to 12 touch points to win someone's business. Mm-hmm. That's not 7 to 12 times of saying, I still haven't got your business and can I have your business? But it's 7 to 12 times of sharing value, sharing me, sharing my personality, sharing my passion. Then in the end, I end up being the last person to still keep on showing up. And that's how I won so much business as a recruiter, and it's how I win business now as a coach, is that I show consistency, because it could be the right person and you're in the right place, just the wrong time. Yeah. But so many people give up because they're looking for the quick buck. Yeah. So good business growth for me is a marathon, not a sprint. Yeah. And it takes time. And then the fifth P for me is if I've got great passion, I've got phenomenal bait, I'm in the right ponds, check out all my different rods and nets, and I go fishing regularly. There's only one fifth P to come, that's process. You've got to know how to cast, sit there, play with that fish, and then hook it out. And so I always say cast and catch. And that, for me, what I mean by that is, how do I engage with that client who's now said, can you come and see us, or has responded to one of my recent tools? How do I engage with you? How do I qualify you? How do I pitch my business, pitch myself, pitch my product and my service, sell the value, the benefit, and how do I close you? So for me, you need all five to really be successful in how you develop your people. Are we strong with passion? Do we know our proposition? Do we know where the profit is in the marketplace? Are we tapping it regularly with a variety of tools? Yes, we are. Is our sales process good? Cool, then just a matter of time. Wait for the fish to jump in the net. Most companies, individuals fail because one of those 5 Ps is missing. Mm-hmm. You can have phenomenal proposition, but no one's really excited about selling it. Then they won't speak to anyone. You can have great passion, great bait, but we just aren't speaking to the right people. We've got a fear about it. We haven't mapped our market, or we know all that. We're just not calling them. We're not trying to get in front of them. Or we can get in front of them, but then we're pretty poor at engaging and doing good qualification. Mm-hmm. There's far more to a strong, effective, consultative client meeting than trying to win a job brief off them. Mm-hmm. That for me is part 2. Part 1 is understanding blue sky, the business, their market challenges, project challenges, their personal challenges, to build that trust. Then finally, hopefully find there's an opportunity to recruit for them. Yeah. But again, even if you know there is, it's not the first thing to do, is it? It's jump on that person and go, hey, I know you're hiring, unless you do know they're hiring and you've got that quicker route to market to make a fee. So I just think the whole thing takes time. It takes reflection. And you've got to work out of everything I've just said there. And if you took those 5 Ps and you scored yourself out of 10, and you want to rewind this, you just scored yourself out of 10 for each area I've just covered, times that by 2, you've now got a percentage of how efficient are we at winning new business. Congratulations. That bit I don't care about. How inefficient are you? Because if you're now 35 and 40% inefficient, look at your current turnover and your current profit margins and go, wow, what could that be if we focused and honed in on some of these key areas? If people want to know more about that, that's why I'm here. I can help.
Yeah. I think it's interesting what you say about dating. I've likened sales to dating in almost every area because it just brings it to life. Now, you're presenting a proposal, or the first time you go to see a customer, you think about what's it going to be like for a first date. Are you going to speak your mind about everything? No, you're not. You're going to be like smart. You're going to be conservative. Probably you are.
Yeah.
And it's the long game as well. And I think that resonates particularly well when I've looked after new people coming into sales. And you say, okay, stop, think about it in the real world and dating. What you've just said there about the proposition for our product, it sounds like you're reading from a marketing brochure. How would you talk? How would you present that to somebody down the pub? Your mate down the pub, how would you talk about that? I think it's just bringing it back to real life. About people think, because I'm in a sales role, I need to behave in a certain way. You just need to be you. You just need to be you. Yeah. And you can tweak you, but don't be a marketing brochure.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. You know what I did, right? And I'll share it with you after this, is I was walking on the river. I had some meetings this morning down by Tower Bridge. And it was just great to step back for a second and go, you know what a great city we live in. I love London, and to see all the tourists here, the sun is shining finally. And I love being out. I love meeting people. And I always say, if you want to win new business, I love tech. Target recruit, fantastic. And that's brilliant. That's a support mechanism to make you more efficient. But the only way to win new business and grow your business is to get in front of people. And I think, unfortunately, COVID was a really, really tough time for people. And I very sadly lost my mum. So no one can relate to that, I think, more than I can, or anyone else who went through that struggle and that challenge. For those people that maybe hopefully didn't have to go through that grief that I did, is that it's now a very different marketplace to what it was in the COVID times. That you now need to get out there, and I digress, but I always give a big shout out to my mum. Hopefully she's still watching down and looking at me. She's going, I'm so proud of my Bradley. Love you, mum.
Sure she is.
Oh, good old Shirley Shack. Is that I was walking on the river and I said, hey, I'm trying to be a bit more personal with my own LinkedIn stuff right now. I don't know how if I'm ever perceived as formal or informal or corporate or not, but I want to share a bit more about just how I go about doing my own business. And I did this little piece to camera today saying, it's great to get out of the office for a day and just go and meet people and tell them what you do. And you're not going to win them all, right? But you've got such a high chance of success if you get out in front of people. They see the whites of your eyes. And the other thing is, you never know why someone's going to buy from you. I think as an absolute minimum, you need to get known, you need to get likes, you need to get trusted. But why that person will buy from you, that's another conversation, and whether we have time today or not, just share that with you, that I'm happy to. But it takes time to build that trust. But I always think, some people think they're investing in you as a supplier or a salesperson because of your product or your company. Wrong. Sometimes it's, you're a great guy, you're a great girl, I love your energy, I can see you really care, and I know you're going to do a great job by me. So I think personality is key. It's a very old school term now. People buy from people, and I really do believe in that. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think so. Unless it's a specific product that has nothing to do with that relationship development. Yeah, but there's so many options out there. I think whether it be whether you're selling people, tech, coaching, training, whatever it may be. I just believe take the time to get to know people, and let them see the whites of your eyes and let them see the real you. Not the corporate you, not what your boss has said, not what the brochure said, I should say, or whatever the website is to reaffirm who we are and re-communicate that message. That's a part of it. But I think personality is what can win you a lot of deals or lose you deals if you're off point. So I just say be you, and we've only got one life, right? Live it, and live it for yourself, not for someone else, and be happy. Yeah.
So do you think for 2024 that the 5Ps, winning the new business, getting out there, doing more business development, doing what perhaps a lot of companies didn't need to do 2 years ago. Do you think that's one of the biggest areas of wins for in the recruitment world for the next 9 months?
Okay. What I've shared with you so far is what I say individuals and companies need to do. So if you want to win new business, be passionate, know your proposition, take it to the right people, be consistent with a variety of different approaches, and then know what to say on the day, right? That's what a salesperson needs to do. If you want to look at the leadership side of how do we get all our people doing that, that's probably a slightly different conversation, in that leaders need to be thinking about what is our coaching roadmap? What does our coaching roadmap for success look like? How do we develop our people? And I would say that everyone wants to improve their results. They want to win new business. But if you work backwards, most people think it starts with activity, increasing activity. I agree. But the step before that is actually, are our techniques strong? Because if our techniques are poor, then we're not going to, it doesn't matter how high better our activities are. So leaders should be reviewing activity levels, yes, but the step before that would be how strong are our techniques. So listen in, go on meetings with your people, and evaluate the quality of their techniques. And I will say, listen, business owner, lead the way, show them how it should be done. You've built this business, well done you, show them how you did it and how you were successful previously, and for people to see your techniques. Before your techniques are strong though, well, your strategies and your plan, what's that looking like? And the strategies and the plan have to be associated with real clarity and ambition of who are we targeting and what kind of business do I really want to build? And ultimately, are we motivated to do that? So you need to kind of build like a roadmap for development. And I call that map star. I believe as a leader, there are 7 steps to how you build a business. And that is make sure everyone's in the right space in terms of motivation. 2, as a company, let's get real clarity in what is our commercial ambition, what is our financial ambition, what is the ambition of the culture for the business, our values, our guidelines, the sort of people that we want to be hiring. Great. Step 3, then what's the plan? Who do we want to hire? Whose business do we want to go and win? What's the strategy to really build out our market presence? What do our techniques need to look like? Let's systemize that approach so we can kind of get people a bit more systematic in their approach in terms of executing good meetings. What does a good qualification system look like? And what you're really building there is your formula. Now let's go and do tons of it, work out what's working and get that activity high, and you'll get the results. So I call it map star. If you want to become the star in your industry and the star go-to business in your industry, you've got to take some time out to map that journey. If you're reliant upon hoping everyone's got their own little way of doing it, I think you could be operating inefficiently. I think the smart businesses that I work with and who I don't work with, they are investing in companies, coaching, various networking groups and so on, to really figure out the best formula for their growth, take it back to the business, share it, get everyone's input. Right, let's go. Let's go on this expedition again. So I think, I think the real success would be in companies that are investing some proper time in smart time as a leadership team, and also smart time, or that their salespeople are investing in smart time for themselves to say, how could we be better? And that's really where my expertise comes in, is that I help companies and I facilitate that and I provide those systems. I provide that roadmap for growth. And I'll be honest, it's awesome. So I love sharing it with people.
And when do you think that should be a continual journey that businesses are on, where they're engaging with the likes of yourselves to come in, to assess, understand what's working, what's not? Like some people, for example, they get therapy when things have gone wrong. Others get therapy constantly because they need to have that support mechanism. Do you usually find that people call you in when things aren't going as planned, or is it a continual review to make sure that doesn't happen?
I think it's a bit of both. When do companies engage with me? Could be on the start of a journey. That they want some guidance, they want a system, they want a framework for growth, and I will give that to them and I will coach it into the business through the leadership team and the salespeople. So some people will engage with me at a fairly embryonic stage, just starting out 1 to 2 to 3 people. Other companies I'm working with are kind of 50 to 100 million turnover business. They're doing good and they want to become really great. I work with companies that are 250 to 1 billion turnover size business, and what they're missing is just a systematic approach to how they are executing their sales process. They've grown massively in terms of headcount. Is there a consistent approach across the business to differentiate us? Maybe not. Some of the bigger players are really struggling against the smaller, medium-sized businesses, because those smaller, medium-sized businesses are far more flexible in their approach, less red tape, decisions can get made quicker, sometimes privately or family-owned businesses. So, I see a lot of companies, that are taking large pieces of cake off the larger global suppliers because they're more flexible than the larger companies. I think big businesses need, again, there's been a huge change in that landscape, need to get flexible in what their people want, what the market wants. And I think let people go and be entrepreneurial. If someone wants to give something a go, let them do it. If they can present a good business case and a good business plan, 3, 6, 9, 12 months, let them have a crack at it if you believe in them. Mm-hmm. If their attitude is there, I will succeed, give them a crack. I will get you home, just follow me.
Yeah.
And that's,
So when you said that you times step in almost as their interim sales director.
Yes.
You do your thing when you get in there, but you're not there in a full-time capacity. So how do you ensure that, or how do businesses ensure that when they have gone through the learnings, that it doesn't get forgotten about on Monday morning?
Yeah, okay, great question. How do I work with people, or how does it work? So I guess I become, I never want to undermine anyone, but I guess I kind of come in as a bit of an MD, interim sales director, interim managing director. I work with a lot of companies, really bright CEOs of major, multi-billion turnover companies with a UK international presence. So I work with some very big businesses. They're so focused on the vision, the hiring plan for growth, that coaching might not necessarily be their greatest forte or their greatest strength. I love coaching people, and I charge good money, and I want my clients to get a phenomenal return on their investment with me. So my job is to always think about what's the best way to get people to get hungry about sales, to get ambitious about sales, and to go out there and do it. And like I said today, getting out there and getting in front of people. So my job is to create a systemized approach to development. And what comes with that is I've produced a huge variety of intellectual property that are specific sales management, sales leadership, and sales execution-based templates that I now have companies embedding into their business. And they're even using it when it comes to selling their business to show the quality of the learning and development programs that they've invested in. So with my coaching comes specific, highly proven, globally tested roadmaps and approaches to how to develop your people. So the best coaching, I mentioned that earlier, the best coaching is about leaving people with a system that they can use after I'm gone. Yeah. Or that I can come back once a month, which is what I do with a lot of businesses. So I like to set tasks. So the MD and I will agree what's the commercial goal over the next 12 to 18 months, the business they want to win, the accounts they want to develop, and I will go away and design a program to achieve that very specific commercial objective. The majority of coaching I do is bespoke for every business I work with. And my job is then to meet with the people of that business and understand what's working for them, what isn't working for them, what kind of coaching are they looking for, so that everyone's engaged, right? Everyone is the author and has an input into this expedition, that they've all been heard. And then I will set up high performance, 9-10 hour coaching day at a nice inspirational venue offsite. Could be the Queen's Club in London if it's London based, where I do a lot of my work, to a nice castle, whatever it may be in the regions, the counties or the Isles. And my job is to get them engaged for the day, set tasks. And it's really simple. When you go flying, you do brief, execute, debrief. Okay, so my instructor or I will brief my instructor, and this is where we're going to go. This is how I'm going to do it. Who's doing what in that aircraft on the trip? Execute the trip, land, debrief. So I do the same thing in coaching. Brief, this is what we're trying to achieve. How would you do it? We practice it on the day. I share my ideas, and we try and find the best formula to achieving that task. And I go, great, you've now got 4 weeks, execute. They execute for 4 weeks. They report to me on a weekly basis. We then meet in 4 weeks' time, debrief. How did you get on? What worked, what didn't work, and how can we keep on tailoring it? So, I think it was Clive Woodward that said, games of rugby are won on small margins and keep on putting points on the board, right? That to me is sales. That's how you develop a business, is just keep on trying to get points on the board. Yeah. And my job is to get people to report to me, be accountable, and tweak how we're going to trim and sell this yacht.
So you work with them enough to change the habits so that what they weren't doing before you were there, they're doing now.
Yeah, you just raised a great point, and I shall be using that in future pitches.
You may use that.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take that one. Cheers. Yeah, listen, I mean, you've just brought up a great point. What's the difference between a great coach and an average coach? It's someone who can have the impact on changing someone's performance and their habits for the long term. So only by investing in me, but more importantly, investing in your people for the long term, say over a period of 6 months, that if I keep on coaching a certain method that I know works, and it's proving in this team of 12, 16 people is working, and I get you to keep on reporting to me weekly, and we keep on tweaking it, by the end of it, we're going to win the race, right? But if you brought me in for a day, and I share with you, great, that's going to have an impact. But it all depends on budget. And I always say, listen, it all depends on how serious are you. You know, I mean, if you want to get fit and you're, oh my God, you could be doing the X Factor and you're about to go on TV, you know, and you want to lose some pounds and show a little bit of perked muscles, as I was told to do by my mates, get down the gym. Would you hire a body coach and a trainer in a gym once? Or would you ask that person for a 12-week program, which is what I did? God, I used to be tiny and ripped. Joking. You know, it worked for me back in the day when I did the X Factor. And I just think it's the same with good coaching. If this person's worth 10 times more than what you paid them, keep on hiring them. And I'm pretty comfortable that I can say that I am worth 10 times what a company will spend with me in terms of value and ROI, you know, on a monthly, quarterly, consistent annual basis. So those companies that are serious about growth and want to become the number one and they want to sell, they're going to invest in someone for the long term if they can prove they're good. And if I keep on producing results for my clients, and what do they look like? More meetings, more meetings with new clients, more deals at a higher fee on a consistent basis, they're going to keep on inviting me back.
Do you find that people are taking care of themselves more than they ever have? Like, you've got things like now, everyone talk, well, not everyone, but people talk either individually or collectively about nutrition, about meditation, about breathing, about fitness, about reflection. There's so many things about self-help which people talk about.
Yeah.
And I think, if I think about, say, 20 years ago, you had, when I used to go and do powerlifting, people would be talking about the mindset, they'd be talking about fitness, they'd be talking about nutrition, but then there would be conversations which I wasn't privy to in other clubs and the like. But now everything's so much more accessible through social media, through LinkedIn, through Instagram, through TikTok, that it feels like there's a real trend of people taking care of themselves more than there ever has been. Do you find that when you work with your clients, that's a responsibility for individuals to have as well?
That's a great question. I think, look, I've been in business 25 years. There are people that have always been, I think, or people you work with, or people in your private life, sporting life, that are self-conscious about their health. But I don't think it was necessarily put in front of them every day. Or mental health, is the big one right now. And let's be honest, that wasn't ever covered, I don't think, 15, 20 years ago, even 10 years ago. Now it's become a big thing, and rightfully so. I think mentally, people that used to struggle, suicide, horrific thing, it's because they didn't talk. And I always say, if something's on your mind, please go and speak to someone. Because I know some people think it's a violin that people will now use as an excuse or a reason for a certain poor performance. But I would never question anyone's mental health. I always think that the one thing that's come out of the social media, good and bad, social media can impact people negatively. But I think all the various tools and tech and social media channels that are out there now, LinkedIn, the various charities that wonderful recruitment companies promote, actively promote, sponsor. There's a lot of mental health conversations that are going on now. And I think it's so important, that people have someone to talk to if they are struggling, and if they don't, that worries me. So, if anyone's ever struggling, call me. I'll help you. Nice. Yeah. I hate to think of anyone who's in the dark. I was in a dark place when I lost my mum. Right. And it was very important that I had people there who I could really lean on, and talk to about it. Yeah. And there were people in my industry, people I didn't expect to hear from, recruitment companies, directors, owners, suppliers to our industry, names without naming names, people that you'd know and I know, and the industry knows very well, who checked in on me at that initial time when I lost my mum. And I think it was a huge relief for me to feel that it was okay to actually be down You know, motivational sales coach is not having a good month. I wasn't. I took some time out when I sadly lost my mum, and I just think that actually knowing that it was actually okay that I'm stopping work for the time being, and that there were people that really cared. You know, I always say in a crap time, that's when you really know who your mates are. You know, and people that care. So I've received that, I've seen it, I know what it looks like, you know, and the opportunity to talk about it. And I hope that every single person out there, if they're struggling, has someone to talk to. Don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid. Just be you. You know, and I think that's the biggest thing I've learned. I think since COVID, in my own business, how I am and how I encourage everyone is that business great, making money great. That's why everyone's in business. Just be you. You know, and if you're you and you're a cool person and you deliver on your promise, people will buy from you, and people will buy from you on a repeat basis. And I just think, don't try and be like anyone else.
People overthink it, don't they?
Oh, I think people do overthink it. Yeah, I just, you know, sure, you know, look at how the best do it and try and find how they do it and find an area of that expertise, skill set, capability, whatever they're doing. But always be true. Be true to you. And I think the other thing is, don't spend too much time worrying about what the competition are doing, right? If you're passionate about who you are, what you do, you see there's a market opportunity out there, go for it. Just turn up, you know, and give it a go. And you'll find your way along the way. You know, if you take music, and I love my singing, you know, you're not going to get the song that you want to. So there's a song that I love. I'm not going to nail it on the first gig I do. But if I practice and I practice and I practice it, right, which I do, I'll then go and perform that song. Could be in a pub, could be in a club, could be, you know, I was invited to play at Hixton at the show jumping ground, you know, major annual event there, you know, a few months ago. And there were like 1,500 people. That's quite a big gig for me. I'm kind of used to doing it on the speaking front, but the largest audience I sung to was 15,000 on the X Factor. That's pretty big. But to go and sing to 1,500 people recently, you know, I practiced my songs, and then you get certain songs right, and you go, right, I could have done better. You know, or I should have told the story more than kind of just shouting down the mic. So you're never going to nail it until you take it to market and you play it. Then I did a gig recently in Brighton, played that song again. You know, apparently I nailed it. So it takes time to find your pattern and find your formula, whether that's singing, sport, relationships, life, building a business, winning new business. Just turn up, have a go, and be you. And I do believe a lot of people, one of the key buying signatures of whether they will or they won't buy from you is, do I like you? And I think you've got to be you. And when I say be you in a positive way, you know, that you care. You know, then let's just get that right, okay? I'm not saying start swearing in a meeting, turn up late and look like shit.
But that's me.
Yeah, but that's me. Maybe that works in certain industries. But I just, I worry about, I think, you know, we're having a bit of a deeper conversation here than I planned. I worry about the more junior, inexperienced recruiter right now who is looking around that floor at some very successful people with a bit of a pressure on their plate, not quite a gun at the head, but a target to meet, you know. And I get a lot of companies who will question certain people they're putting on a program with me. The first question I have before you start running them down to me, Mr. Client, is, have you given them the greatest chance of success? You know, have you really given them the greatest chance of success to succeed in developing a new market or winning this business? Because 9 times out of 10, they haven't. Talking at someone and telling someone what they should do is not coaching. Good coaching is explaining and coaching how they can do it, and a variety of options. And you know what? Let's try together. Let's make this call together. I'll do this Teams with you right now. You know, and we'll do the brief, execute, debrief. So I do worry about some of the faces I see at times in a room, and I get everyone to present. I'm really a big fan of getting people to get confident in public speaking, getting people at doing pieces to camera, you know, informally, not formally like this, but informally, putting that out on LinkedIn to show you. Without question, there's pressure on some junior, inexperienced people, or there's pressure on the more seasoned recruiter who's got the juniors that are flying past them. All I want to do is help as many people as I can to be happy in life, happy in business. And if they want to say, you know, Brad really helped me, and they put kind posts on LinkedIn like they do, then for me, that's winning, irrespective of the fee and what I charge. You know, the fees pay my bills, but the real reason of why I do what I do is to see people going home smiling at the end of the day, sharing their results the week after, the month after, 6 months after, 12 months after, and now getting promoted to go and set up a US operation. And they claim a lot of their success and was down to being how I coached them, and they've become who they are because of some of my influences. Then that's my why.
Yeah.
That's what makes me smile.
Yeah, I've always found that if it's the attitude is right and they're open-minded to learn, they can do anything they want.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think go back to the 5 Ps. Be passionate, be motivated, and ask yourself who's it all for. I know a lot of people that I work with are committing themselves to their other halves, their partners, their loved ones. If they've been unlucky in love and they haven't got a partner, but they've got a mum, they've got a dad, they've got a friend, someone, who they might share. I'm on Brad's Sales Academy, and I say I'm going to work you hard, but we're going to have a lot of fun, and if they commit to this journey with me and they commit to themselves to being willing to up their game and work harder, as soon as they taste that first success, right, you're changing habits. But I'll see you in a month, and I'll see you in another month, and I'll see you in another month. And now suddenly the habit is rotating permanently into a positive one. And I think good coaching comes from trialing something, and if it works or it works more than it doesn't work, then there's the proof. People want proof, and I provide that proof. And now they'll apply it long term, and they suddenly become the big billers, the directors. They call me. They're in a new firm. They've set up their own firm. So I've been on this journey for a while, and I really enjoy it. I mean, I really love helping people, coaching people. I think in the coaching world, and because I speak at a lot of events, I'm doing this. People can think, it's all about big ego. It's not. This seems to just be the way now that people are spreading their word with podcasts and speaking on stage. And I get invited to speak at some really big, national sales conferences. I'm speaking at London Excel next week at the Recruitment Agency Expo. I'm opening that conference to speak about, again, how do you build high-performance sales teams. I've been approached by the REC. We're doing a road show a little later this year, London, Manchester, Birmingham. We're going on the road for, I think it's across a 9-week period. To help as many people as I can on building a business, winning new business, getting motivated for 24, 25. So, I'll do everything I can to help people just be more successful, and love what you do. And if you don't love what you do, I'll do my very best to see if I can help you change that mindset.
I think we've covered a lot of good ground there.
I've enjoyed it.
Likewise.
Yeah.
If you had to summarise how people can be the most successful they can be, boil it down, I guess, from that last hour conversation, what would you say the top tips are? Okay,
it's really cheesy on that, isn't it? Top tips for success. What would be the takeaway from today? I would say get passionate about who you are, what you do. Define and really think about what makes you different. Why should people work with you? And go home, practice it, and really get passionate about whose business you want. And then just do your very best to meet as many people as you can across different mediums, face-to-face, online. The more people you share your story with, the greater chance of success you're going to have that they want to engage with you. And fingers crossed, with some good tailoring and some good sales coaching, they'll want to give you their business.
So where would people find out more if they wanted to approach you and know more about what you've got to offer?
Yeah, sure. So people want to engage with me, whether you're a startup, small to medium-sized company, large, medium to large size, UK, international, global corporation. If your goal this year and next year is to win new business, really get people more motivated, get more sniper focused on whose business do we want to win, get more strategic, just simply review your sales approach, and I'll happily share what works and what doesn't work right now, then get in touch with me. I've got a variety of kind of one-day events that are coming up around winning new business, how to improve your execution. If people are interested in more of a kind of public attending type event and they want to meet a community of other inspirational, ambitious recruitment owners, consultants, managers, then drop me a line about that. If you're a larger company and you really want to create some dramatic change in your performance and your approach to how you grow your business, I've got a 7-month program called the Mapstyle Sales Academy. That's kind of the longer term investment type programs for companies that really want to see dramatic change and a real change in those habits. I think either way, it's all business starts with a conversation. So drop me a line on LinkedIn, drop me a DM, and I'll happily either design something bespoke for your people in your business, half day, 1 day, longer term type investment, or come on one of my public events. Just drop me a line. Let's have a chat and take it from there. And if you get to know me, you get to like me, and you get to trust me, then maybe I can help you. Thanks very much to you.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks for inviting me in.
I've really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, me too.
So,
cheers, big man.
God,
definite power lifter there.
I try.
Great job. Thanks for having
Thanks.
me.